Everything goes. Let's go. Feel. Everything goes when the homies hate your personal taste. Shakur of a tank type of take, it be hurting your rank. Heated debates about who's better between the birds or the Saints. But post games of which Diggs is really worse than the paint. And John, Ian, and Dan on the pod, future icons. Ian screaming go birds and Dan trying to fight John. A Rockets fan with the Saints from Philly with a python. Cross me and the boys step over him like he Tyron. Eagle season end with a bowl and nobody sober. Let the Saints be the chance and Dan on bourbon and Nola. Everything goes. Place your bets with a take the over. Philly niggas wanna see how red that we gon' make October. At game time, it's game time. Need your picks, you can clutch it. Gave my ticket to John, brought me back with a bucket. CP3 on the assist and Kawhi be getting his touches. But I'm watching Brian cooking my ticket and I'm like, fuck it, let Ian tell it. He gon' say that Brian is the GOAT. Coming back from 3-1 and barely had him a coach. MJ don't got these records, so we laughing the most. And I watched it with my own eyes, so now I'm back in the host. I get my locks from Dan and lock it in on fantasy picks. Number one in every league, they can't stand me with this. I'm fleecing the league with every trade, I dismantle it quick. Wave a wire, watching the pod to help me handle the shit. Legendary status, keep watching, we gon' reach that. But reach too far, my rocket shooting, and I gotta teach that. Fill the gap with a hit stick. Think I don't see that Hall of Fame vision switching from B-Dog to the T-Man. On your wrist, John Dane time, and everything froze. Errol Spence washed up then, and everyone knows you can't see. I see 3 when comparing to those, cause every podcast can't handle when everything goes.
Shout out to the guys.
Here back like we never left. Today I'm in the studio with my man John.
Yo, intro getting right every time. Too groovy on him.
Got my man E.
Back in this job.
First and foremost, we just want to thank everybody that's tapped in and everybody that will tap in. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Your support is very much appreciated. Before we jump into our games and topics for today, y'all already know we got some breaking news starting in the NFL. It's a weird one, but we're going to start with, I guess, the positive news. If you think this positive, the Steelers have hired Mike McCarthy to be their new head coach. How y'all feel about it?
You're talking about if you think it's positive. I think as a when you consider the landscape of the coaches that they could have hired, this is not the worst one. Mike McCarthy, I guess, out of the pool that was left. I mean, if you consider accomplishments, resumes, et cetera, he probably he top 3. I kind of feel bad for the Steelers though. Like you go from Mike Tomlin, we love Mike Tomlin, but you do a whole bunch of losing to McCarthy, where you're going to continue to do more losing. I think give McCarthy the right type of situation. He might be able to make something shake, but it's a sleeper hire. Like, nobody really cares.
What about you, E?
I'm surprised he didn't put more smut on Mike McCarthy's name.
You mean that's
he got a Super Bowl? Yeah, he got a Super Bowl ring, but like that's what 2010, 2011. Since then, he's done nothing but lose games and lose jobs. I think that I believe they either just fired or they were also looking to replace Arthur Smith. I think that job would be more fitting for Mike McCarthy. I think he's an offensive-minded head coach. I think that in the current system, or the current situation, rather, for the Steelers, that if he was coming in as an OC, even once A-Rod left, that's something that he could stick with and develop a system within that, that team and be able to like function and flourish. I think in the head coach position, this move is kind of like showing that A-Rod is a priority after, he started the season by saying this is my last one. I think that they looked a little bit better than maybe A-Rod thought that they would, and some people within the organization, and he feels good. He didn't get sacked too much or nothing like that. He's still moving around. So he like, why not like go again and see what we can do, which I'm not entirely mad at. I do feel like you say you was out of here, go ahead and retire. Like you're not winning nothing, so get out of here. But if he want to keep playing, shout out to him. But I feel like him keep playing and having this much influence on who you hire is bad for business, because he got 1-2 more years max, and then y'all stuck with Mike McCarthy or getting rid of his contract or
Mm-hmm.
figuring that out. You got a young quarterback behind A-Rod that y'all drafted in recent years that y'all need to find out if he can play or not.
Mm-hmm.
So that y'all need to, y'all know what to do with draft picks moving forward. But Mike McCarthy indicates that A-Rod is probably sticking around, which means that again, Steelers football won't mean nothing for the next 2 or 3 years, probably.
Yeah. And the Arthur Smith where he belonged, college. He had Ohio State as their OC. He don't need to be in the NFL.
So for me, the way I look at it, I don't even get them that long. You said what, 2 3 years? I get A Rod 9 weeks. By week by week 10, he'll look 55 again. They'll be Mike McCarthy. I don't see this. The thing that's kind of shocking to me. Pittsburgh, when they hire a head coach, they hire you to keep you around
Right.
for
They got
a
three
long.
coaches in their history.
Yes, and so it's like Mike McCarthy. So like y'all look at him in that same cloth, like McCarthy about to be there for 15, 20 years, or is he about to be the start of y'all on the Browns type time now, different head coach, different quarterback every other year? Like what's going
Yeah.
on? I don't get it, honestly. No disrespect to Mike McCarthy. He is a head coach that led a team to a Super Bowl with Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. And when he was the Dallas Cowboys head coach, although they didn't have as much postseason success as they would have liked, they were still consistently top two, three seed in the NFC. It wasn't until they got rid of Mike McCarthy, and now their offense is well, no, their offense have been explosive this year, but their team as a whole was just garbage this year. But so you mean Mike McCarthy? Like we have seen him be successful in situations, but it's always a limited amount of success outside of that 1 year that Ian just pointed out was 15 years ago. So I don't understand it, Pittsburgh. I really don't. But so moving on
That's
to yeah, moving on to the second breaking news with this. It's a lot going on with the Hall of Fame. Eli Manning has now not been selected to the Hall of Fame for the second straight year after being the finalist. How y'all feel about this?
I think it speaks to a bigger issue that we've talked about before, not just in the NFL but across all sports. I think that the people in charge, not owners, but the
Mm-hmm.
people in terms of the
The voter
commissioner, the players, players, presidents, people like that, they need to sit down and understand and define the criteria for all of these awards,
Hall of Famer.
whether it be MVP, whether it be Hall of Fame, whether it be Coach of the Year. We need to sit down and have a criteria to match up um, what we're looking at and what we're judging, whether this person deserves this award or this accomplishment or this induction into whatever, whether it be a team Hall of Fame, a sports Hall of Fame, whatever. I think that's one. I think two from there. Um, which they are starting to do because of certain things right now. But I think that we also have to update the voters and get beyond the point of this is something that Terry Bradshaw has done for the last 30 years. Terry gonna do it until he die. No, Terry is 79 years old. How football is played today versus how it played when he won his Super Bowl is not the same football. And not to say that he doesn't understand the game, but we need to update with more recent watchers, more recent historians or sports analysts, whatever. I think that Eli Manning is, according to stats and wins, an average quarterback. But according to postseason performance and production and results, Eli
Mm-hmm.
Manning is a Hall of Fame quarterback.
I,
Um, Again, when you talk about fame and you talk about the story or a narrative, we too much worried about the narrative right now with a lot of awards. I feel like, but
mm-hmm.
Eli Manning's narrative is two of the three losses or three blemishes on Tom Brady's record in terms of his Super Bowl appearances. I
Mm-hmm.
think that for one man to be your GOAT and two of his three losses in the Super Bowl to be to the same person and the same organization and like a 4 year span or something like that.
Underdog both times.
You feel me? Like he
And
wasn't one season y'all was undefeated until y'all saw
yo,
him at 8-8 and he went and got that. For me, is no way to. And then for there, it's certain stats is like okay. Again, we watch him play football. I think his record is even like 117 and 117 all time. Um, but when you look at his stats, I think he's eighth in yards and ninth in touchdowns all time. So it's like you could say he was efficient and his numbers don't match up and blah blah blah. He
Oh,
was above 500. What?
probably also top five in interceptions. We gotta add that in
That,
there.
yeah, it mattered, but Brett
Well,
Favre up there too, and Brett Favre first ballot. You feel
Okay.
me? Like Brett Favre first ballot. Eli got two of them things. And,
Mm-hmm.
and we again, like the narrative changes depending on who we talking about. Eli is subpar. Brett Favre is a gunslinger. He was taking risks. He was taking chances. You got to live with those. Not that I don't love Brett Favre's game and what he did, but again, when you talk about the narrative of the NFL and where Eli Manning sticks out, you
Mm-hmm.
cannot tell the story of the last 20 years of football without talking about Eli Manning. He got to be in the Hall of Fame.
Got you. How you feel about this, John?
I think I'll keep mine short because I was gonna say something Ian said about sitting down because I feel the same. I feel more strongly the same about the NBA. Like I think they need to sit down and figure out criteria of you getting into the Hall of Fame. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe my idea when I think of the Hall of Fame, but because some players have made it into the Hall of Fame for both sports, it kind of makes later people you cannot justify not putting him in the Hall of Fame. And I think Eli Manning kind of is a good example of this because like Ian said, like if you tell the story of the past quarter century of the NFL, you cannot tell that story without Eli Manning. Although I go as far as say he for sure is an average quarterback. Like everything about Eli was average. His numbers, the eye test was average. His numbers is average.
Average. Mm-hmm.
His record was average at its definition.
All across the
Um,
board.
yeah, all
Mm-hmm.
across the board is average, but then you have the moments. Like the moments he is the pinnacle. Same thing, a more recent quarterback is that you could possibly even say is Jalen. Like you consider two of his best games of his career was in the Super
In
Bowl.
the
One
bowl.
he right, one he lost, one he won.
But
So
he showed up.
exactly. So I think based off precedent of players that are already in the hall or plan on going to the hall, I think Eli has to go in. But then if you were to do it over, like everybody is kicked out of the Hall of Fame, and we restructuring this joint for criteria of who belongs in the Hall of Fame or should go to the Hall of Fame, is he really a Hall of Famer? I don't know. So I think he definitely should get in. Hopefully, next go round, maybe he will, maybe he won't. But I definitely think he has semi deserved to get put in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we'll see.
Gotcha. So before I give my opinion on this, for those of you that are watching, please let us know down below if y'all think Eli Manning should be a Hall of Famer or not. Is he a Hall of Famer or not? So the way I look at it, so I wasn't mad that they kept him out last year because it's a big difference between, well, not a big difference, but it's a big difference between a first ballot Hall of Famer and a Hall of Famer. Eli Manning is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. So rightfully so, they should have kept him out last year. But okay, this year, why not? Y'all gonna put him in eventually. Y'all know that already. Why not this year? I feel as though he do deserve it. He came up clutch in them two big games against Tom Brady, and not just those two games, just them playoff runs
The
as a
whole
whole.
runs,
Was the
yeah.
wild card both times. Was the sixth seed both times on the road, all games both times. Like, come on. He should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't understand why they left him out this second time around, but I'm not like super upset about it because I watched Eli Manning play. He's not a game changing quarterback. You get what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, I do think
He
he
didn't have a
deserves.
game changing career.
He didn't have a game changing career, but he had game changing moments here and there. So I do believe they will put him in eventually. I just don't understand what they're waiting for.
And I feel like to add to that, bro, in the NFL and in the NBA, bro, they got stats and calculators and machines that's processing information that nobody asks for. Like
Exactly.
how many drop backs, how many times when you drop back do you get pressure? No, who asks for QB pressures? Like y'all,
Hmm.
y'all calculate not to say like it don't matter because it do. Like that's a stat that affects the game and it is a part of it. But at the same time, like so many PER stats or per 36 minute stuff like that in the NBA. You telling me you can get something to calculate that, but you can't put it into a machine, create an algorithm to consider amount of points scored or usage for your team or yardage created by the offense in football, according, put in that, and how much input you have in the offense, how much it infiltrates in the eyes and stuff. Like it got to be something that you can do on the technology side of things to
To
make
make
this an easier
it
process. And I'm
easier.
not saying it got to be 100% computer, created or whatever, nothing like that. Like, okay, now the MVP is computer generated. But again, we could look back at MVPs for the last 15 years in both the NFL and NBA and say, how many of these are narratives? How many of
Mhm.
these, are stats saying one thing, but the story is what we went with in terms of NFL right now, Hall of Fame? Like, how many of these are stories right now that matter? And again,
Mhm.
what are the criteria? If we can't hold people accountable to hold it up to a standard, we got to be able to do something about it.
Honestly, yeah, and I agree with everything you just said. And the first thing that jumped in my head was 2016 when they just handed Russ the MVP trophy just because. But we ain't even go. I mean, we ain't even gonna talk about that right now.
Yeah, I was thinking more like D Rose, but I feel you. I feel
And
you.
the other thing I'll add to is we need to, and I don't know we'll ever see this, but one thing we need to do, everybody in all sports can be held accountable except voters. Like I think that needs to change. Like because Ian
Yeah.
alluded to this too, where it's update. This is a good point. Not to get into this, but it's go for government too. But you sit on a Hall of Fame vote or a voting system for 30, 40 years, bro. Why are you still voting? Not to say like some of these
Like,
older voters do not matter, but times
but some of
change.
them do need to get
Yes,
swapped. I do agree.
exactly. Times
Yes.
change, and the just how you look at the game needs to like a brain and how it looks at the game needs to change. And I feel like voters is the only people that do not get held accountable for anything. Like they can get
No.
just we will get into it like with another person that was still out of the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody getting held. Well, we'll get into it, but people in history that have been snubbed out of the Hall of Fame or just have not been put in the Hall of Fame or even MVPs or certain awards, they'll stop for no reason. Like we are looking at it like, yo, how is it even possible that you don't get this award or you don't make it into the Hall of Fame? But then there's no accountability from the voter from these voter standpoint.
For
That
keeping
needs
them.
to change across sports, bro. Like this is some of these things that they get away with swindling out of from people. It's just like, how do y'all keep getting away with this? How are y'all still allowed to vote? Move forward. That's nuts.
I think we definitely gonna get to the bottom of it with everything that just happened, especially this time around, at least for the NFL Hall of Fame. But moving on to some basketball in the NBA world, Boston superstar Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown both made headlines for their respective comments this week. First, starting with JT basically saying he feels as though he would be an all-time great and already have a statue if he played in a place like Memphis, but instead he's in Boston chasing legends like Larry Bird. But he don't mind it. He wants to grind. That's what he's looking forward to. That's why he's still showing up to work every day to go out there and compete. Moving on to Jalen Brown, who had a little something else to say. He basically said we're now seeing his full potential with 4 to 5 key players being out and him no longer having to sacrifice the things that he sacrificed over the past years for them to be a championship contender. And he's basically saying that now we're seeing that he can be a number one on still a championship contender because they are the 2 seed, but they ain't no contenders. I'm being for real. But how y'all feel about this?
I think the more they talk, the more they
Worse
indirectly
they get.
shade one another, and it just get worse. And I feel like it's not even intentional with either one of them. It's just every time somebody, well, not every time somebody asks, but when they talk about their own standpoint with the team, it just brings the other person down. And as far as JT, he drunk, bro. Like we said, we talking about if he played for a smaller market, he would have got a statue already. Come on, bro. Like you kind of wilding right now. Like if we swapping what happened, from his career right now to another small market, and he won one chip, multiple first team All NBAs, but no MVP. You're not getting a statue. But I do, get how you, you know, regard yourself, especially considering that he's not playing. He's not playing right now. He wants so badly to get there out there in the court. It's look like he'll be back this season, in time for the playoffs. But I just think we see. I think the NBA discourse and fans and media sometimes makes Jason Tatum feel like he has to defend himself because of all the we going at you, all the you a cornball, you not like that. When I mean, if you look at it on paper, JT he's borderline, he's gonna be borderline when he finishes career all time great player. Like what he got, let's say he does win, he does win another chip and he gets his MVP, that'll just cement it. And then as far as Jalen Brown, I can't think of another players that are like this, like JT and JB, where they came in pretty much together, and they both have had to sacrifice to an extent. But with Jalen Brown, I think I, it's like two sides. It's like, okay, on one end, it's like, all right, bro, but you've been playing basically second fiddle to a player that's better than you, and you kind of been taking that back seat when in your mind you don't think that he's better than you. So it's like, all right, like how long can I really do this without getting now I got my opportunity without popping it. So I do understand that. But it's like also on the other end, it's like, come on, bro, like this is your teammate. Like whether you realize it or not, and I hope you do quickly, you trying to build yourself up and saying, oh, this is what I got, this is what I've been suppressing. So on the other hand, tearing your teammate down in some sense. So I just hope, when JT does come back on the court, you never know. But when JT does come back on the court, this doesn't trickle onto their performance because neither one of these players, and it's easier to say it in hindsight because not everybody and maybe in history and players have seen this, but neither one of these players can win a chip without the other, especially not in Boston. Like if JB is by himself or JT's by himself, neither one of them is winning a chip by themselves. So
John, I agree with everything you just said. I'm gonna let Ian go before I give full assessment on it, but definitely, and I do want JB to realize that he is affecting JT right now. He's like you just said, he do want to be out there on the court. He do want to be playing. When JT said what he said, okay, it might affect Boston, it might affect JB, but he's not taking a direct shot at JB. Although JB wasn't taking a direct shot at him, who are you sacrificing for? Him. So we know who you taking the shot at. But I'll get more into that. How you feel about it, E?
I want to start by saying or responding to the last thing John said. I think both of these guys could be the top guy in a championship team elsewhere. I think right now the way that the team is constructed, obviously they need each other to win in Boston. But I think if
Yes.
you put them at the number one on another team somewhere and they got a solid number two somewhere, I think that they could go make some noise. I think they played the style of basketball that's needed to be a championship winning team, which is your best player plays both sides of the ball. And we can trust them to do more than just put the ball in the basket. That's first of all. Second of all, I think that is true to what both of them are saying. I
Mm-hmm.
think that they both said it the wrong way. And I see the overlap in terms of how it can affect chemistry. And I agree with John in terms of JT being on the edge and in defense mode a lot. But I actually don't really think this will really affect the team into the playoffs. And like not that like obviously that's where it matters, but I think that they understand, like in the last 2 or 3 years, they've been trying to split them and separate them and put them against each other. And they've been saying, that's my dog, and we doing this and we doing that. So I don't even think it's a me versus him thing until we got into the playoffs and it's realistic that we can win something. And now it's not about, us winning games, but it's also about who are we really playing through? And people in the background saying that JB is really the best player or JT don't got that dog. Like all of those things started to get to them. But even then, they reassure one another that we doing what we doing. I think on JT end, the truth in what he's saying is that there is more greats to surpass or to step in a room with in Boston. Like when we talk about Boston greats, we can name five off the top of our head, and there's probably other greats that if we sat down we could pinpoint out. If I
Hold
actually
on. Hey, my man JoJo White. I got to shout out JoJo
shout out
White.
to the guy. You mean like tell
JoJo,
me tell me a
JoJo White
Memphis
was
great.
hooping in Boston. You mean?
Tell me a great Grizzly. You can't.
Mark Gasol. You mean?
You feel, you feel me? Like I could tell you good
Tony
NBA
Allen, you
players.
tripping?
You feel me? Like, I could tell you good players. I could tell you some dogs that was over there. I was talking to somebody the other day and they said the guy the uh uh talking about Zach Randolph.
Zach
Like he
Randolph.
was a dog, but
He
his
told
prime
Zach
is 15 to
Randolph.
10. You feel me? So like I feel where he coming from. He not saying like I think that if we was sitting there and we saw the live taping of the conversation that he having, it's like a conversation that you have on a mic playing 2K. Like, bro, if I was in the Grizzlies, bro, I'll be a Grizzlies legend. Like he know he still got way more to add to his resume for certain. But again, you in Boston right now, so there's a level of expectation that there is not in Memphis. There's, again, like you could very well get that zero retired in Memphis at the end of your career with
right
one or two
now.
more championships just because. You mean like no individual accolades, just you was the best player on these championship runs. He's not getting that in Boston right now. He's gonna get a thank you for your services. But on JB, and I think that he's right in the sense of, again, y'all see right now that I'm capable of carrying the load.
Mhm.
And we didn't get to see me carry the load because when I was drafted, this was Kyrie's, you know,
On
show
last
essentially.
year. Mhm.
And then once Kyrie got out of there, it took us a couple years to grow into what we grew into, and then it looked like JT was the best player. So now y'all see without, but again, I think even in that statement, he said with five missing players, and again, those five play obviously JT take the most amount of shots, but those players are other good players. Drew Holiday, Kristaps, Marcus Smart. Whenever he peeled from there, so is other guys. Al Horford is other guys that's missing that know they not taking the 15 to 20 shots that JT are a game, but also JT gonna come back and JB still gonna shoot his 20 shots a game that he was shooting 3 years ago, that he's
Mhm.
gonna shoot in the next 3 years.
Mhm.
So like yeah, you might get a little bit more freedom and a bit bigger clip because there's not somebody else that needs to get their shot attempts or nothing like that. But at the same time, it's not like when JT there, it's the JT show and JB sitting in the corner. You feel me? So it's like not to say that you're not sacrificing because you are, but again, this right now it's about a 4 point difference in your points per game and maybe a couple extra rebounds. You distributing the ball a little bit, but you're not as good of a playmaker as JT. So it's not like you're doing anything right now that we didn't know you could do already. We expect your scoring to go up with Derek White and Anthony Simons as your 2 and 3 in your team. Right? Like we expect that to be a thing right now. Not to say I'm not impressed because being a 2 seed with his roster right now is impressive no matter how you slice it. But also him talking about the load that he's carrying and all of that. The East is lighter. You got Holly missing from the East. You got it's so many things going on right now that contribute to that. So uh,
Mhm.
it was what it was. And I definitely think it's something to take away from it in terms of them like trying to outdo one another. But I think that they'll be all right. And like I said, I'm not mad at either one of them for what they said. I just think they could have said it a little better.
Honestly, so I'm not mad at what you just said. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I feel the complete opposite. I think with both of the statements that they just made, it's just proven to me, like what I said, a few weeks ago, that in the next 2 years they're going to be broken up. And I just think by the statement that JT just made and JB, that 2 years from now one of them is going to be gone. And I also feel this way, maybe because JT said that, he could possibly be seeing what JB is doing, see that they the 2 seed, and could possibly try to rush himself back, which I hope he don't do. If you're going to come back this year, make sure you're fully healthy. But that could also be a reason why he said the whole, "Oh, I would be an all-time great elsewhere," et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm currently playing with another player that people are supposedly saying is better than me, but I accomplished this, 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 and this. Because yeah, JB got the Finals MVP, but he don't got what is it, three or four All NBAs? He don't got that.
It's like I think it's four.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think JT made that comment solely off the fact that he see what JB is doing and he feel as though he's kind of being forgotten, because I did mention to you guys a few weeks ago that before this season we already knew when they had to break up it was going to be JB that they was going to ship away. Now since the season has happened, it's a real deal conversation, and we don't know which one they would ship away. And I think JT know that as well. So I think it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it don't matter, but I look at it from a sense of more so giving a nods to again like Larry Bird, John Havlicek's, like Robert
Mm-hmm.
Parrish, Bill Russell. There is like Bill Russell got the career, the history, the fame, the acknowledgement of a combined like the Mark Gasol whole squad in Memphis. You feel me? Like you feel me? Like that's the outlook on it. And then I also think that, like you said, in terms of how fast he comes back because I don't really think. I think at this point we in January. We
Mm-hmm.
not at the All Star break right now, and again they at the 2 seed. I think that if they was a 7 or 8 seed and they was picking up steam, then maybe he might try to rush back. But they got a good enough cushion right now that even if they fall to a 4 or 5, it's nobody in the East that they fear seeing, and is also no expectation on this season. So if JB come back in March or JT come back in March or April and he ready to play basketball and they get into the playoffs, it is what it is. But what I will say with that, the same way that you talking about like in recent years, it kind of being clear who's getting out of there, and now we don't know because they still win the game. If JT come back and they back to winning games by 25, 30 points and putting guys away, we back to having the same conversation. Because again, like they the 2 seed right now, but they not the 2 seed that they were. They not a top 2 seed in the Eastern Conference like they were 2 years ago. 2 years ago, even last year, like people forget how fast going into like the Pacers wasn't a thing until going
No,
right into the
yeah.
playoffs, and it was a Cinderella story in the playoffs. But where we started, even like people gonna say I'm hating or whatever, but even when they was down the three
For the
two, or
Knicks,
like
people thought they was gonna
No,
come
it's
back.
was still
facts.
supposed to
True.
win that series. Like they
Yeah.
still was losing games that they were up 30, just being stubborn and not adjusting. They didn't
I
lose no
agree.
games in that series because they were a lesser team, and they lost some guys, but they still able to compete right now.
Mm-hmm.
JB, JT and JB have shown thus far that they can, mesh well and infiltrate, each other's play style. So if he come back and he fit into what they doing already, we back to having the same conversation.
I mean, I don't know. It's still to be determined. We're gonna see what happens. I do think these guys got one more year together because JT is gonna come back. They're gonna go on their little postseason run, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. They're gonna play next year, and then I think that's a wrap. So yeah, moving on to our first game today. We got some catcher pass for you guys, and the first statement for catcher pass this week. Hold on, let me get to it. The Sixers are meeting current expectations thus far. I'm gonna start with you. E. You're a Sixers fan.
John claimed to be a Sixers fan too, man.
Oh,
Who, John?
Right.
You know John a part time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm heavy PT with the Sixers. I ain't gonna hold you.
Well, I'm a part time Sixers fan too. You
He
mean?
don't even he don't even got a full-time team to support right now. Dame at home, he just vibing like come on. But all right, so as we get into the Sixers bit, right
Mm-hmm.
now we losing by 4 points in the fourth quarter to the Kings, and, and everybody is playing. Um,
Nasty.
Russ give a BTA.
Russ has. I don't even think Russ is playing.
You know
Mm.
that's nasty.
We losing to Dennis and Demar. They got 22 and 25 respectively.
Okay.
Oh my God, VJ, get up!
Yeah, if VJ is chilling. Uh, do I think that we are living up to expectations? I'm gonna pass.
Mm.
Um, for two reasons. One, I think that we had a certain level of expectation going into the season, and
Mm-hmm.
then game one, VJ looked like a third year NBA player, and it changed our expectations exponentially night one. He looked NBA ready the first time he touched the court. And so everybody was like, okay, cool, bro. Once Joel all the way healthy, and again, that's the same conversation that we have every year. But thinking about the fact that Joel wasn't healthy last year, PG wasn't healthy last year, Maxi wasn't healthy last year, and VJ looks like he's ready to play basketball right now. And we have the players in different positions, skill positions to contribute.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think that our season is supposed to look like better than a 5 seed right now.
Well,
Uh, and in the Eastern Conference right now, like the Raptors are ahead of us right now.
okay.
Um, they have defenders on their team, but you can't tell me who their best player is. Is it Bi? Is it Scotty Barnes?
No, it's Bi. I don't like Scotty.
And Scotty be
You
hooping.
know
You feel me? Like Scotty be hooping, but it's not all the way together in Toronto, but we still out there playing basketball, losing games that we don't have to lose. That we're not supposed to lose. And when we do lose these games, it's in ugly fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Maxi has at times looked like he can go average 35. And
Mm-hmm.
then you got games where The shot is not falling, and he's too little to bang. So no Diddy, but
Mhm.
he can't get past a certain line of defense if y'all playing the right kind of help. He just letting the ball fly. He got poor shooting nights. One every 4 games, one every 5 games, and again, VJ is a rookie. So I just think right now we supposed to be better than a 5 seed. I think that it's time to fix it. But like it's nice that we play basketball, and I can't tell if our guys don't want to play. If Nick Nurse is not the coach for like I don't. It's not a clear issue right now. But we still losing games that we're not supposed to lose, and that's why I think that this reason for concern.
Cool.
What about you, John?
I'm a this. So I'm a catch. I'm gonna catch this John. And the, the first part of what Ian said, I'm a agree with why I'm catching because
Mhm.
good. Like Ian said, the expectations changed when night one came around.
True.
But going into this season, I think the Sixers are kind of exactly where people really expected them to be. When you consider Tyrese every single year has taken a leap, and then this leap, I think right now where Tyrese is, he'll probably plateau. Like he's averaging 30. So I think the next however long he's in his prime, he'll be doing the same thing. You go into the season, you have a rookie in VJ that you really don't know if he's gonna be a hit or he's gonna be a miss. You really never know. Night one comes around, looks like he can, like he said, a 3-year vet. That's facts. VJ be out there hooping. And then after that, you have PG who can't stay healthy ever, and Joel who after his yet another lower leg injury, you don't really know what's going to become of him. So you're going into the and then after those three main players, Tyrese, Joel, and PG, two of which can't stay on the court. You got Kelly, and then you have a bench and role players that you are very unsure of. With that in mind, the expectation going into the season is like, okay, for sure, we locked for a playing spot. And they
You
could
think?
bro, yes. Like yes. With the going into the season with two of your three best players not knowing if they're gonna be on the court, and then you're relying on a 6 foot guard and taking another leap and possibly a rookie. Yes, the expectation was for sure playing. If we was going into the season with Joel and PG, like, oh yeah, they about to be healthy, we dogging. The expectation would for sure be okay, top 3 seed, looking to make a deep playoff run. But like you said, you look now like Joel is looking kind of back to form,
Mhm.
and VJ can hoop. The expectation has changed. But the question was going into the season, it was low because you just didn't know who was going to be on the court. Like I said, not low, maybe like a playing joint. Like you shouldn't be lower than Charlotte, Atlanta, Bulls, etc., etc. But right there, around right in that bracket, you got Cleve. You have Cleveland is down there. Orlando is right there.
Mhm.
Toronto is somewhere around there because they fell off from the 2 seed. They came back down to earth. So
Mhm.
I think you're right. They right where expected to be in the season. Maybe if better because now the players VJ is developing. Like sometimes he be taking nights off. I looking at the box like, bro, what happened? Like why you got 7 points? But VJ is developing into a solid 2-way player. Joel looks like he's getting back to form as far as being healthy goes. And then PG as well getting healthy too, and Tyrese taking another step to an elite guard. So
Bro, you just said we not supposed to be beneath this team, this team, this team. The first team that you said we was losing by 50
Woo!
nights ago, bro.
The
Oh,
We was
Hornets,
Charlotte?
down,
the
huh?
Hornets, but listen though, you gonna have one of those
I'm about
average.
to say that happened to everybody though.
Happened
No, but
everybody,
that's what
bro.
I'm saying. To like,
Hold on, hold on,
and
hold on.
go ahead.
Wasn't last year? Didn't the head coach sit JT and JB at the half last year because they was down by 50 to somebody? He said, "Oh, y'all want to play tonight?" He said, "Oh, y'all want to play tonight?" Didn't he say that?
You told when they won
Didn't
the when they won the chip?
yeah, just last year, or it might have been the year they won the chip. Didn't Joe Mazzulla sit them one of the games during the season at halftime because they was down 40 to 50 to somebody? He said, "Oh, y'all don't want to play tonight."
They probably did. I remember they did it in the finals
Oh, bro,
against
that
Luka and
happened
them.
to everybody.
To the Hornets, bro.
I don't think that's a reason to say that.
Bro, what happened? The Hornets beat the Thunder, bro. What you mean? They're the Sixers. They just beat the
The
Thunder
Hornets
last
just the
week.
Hornets just
And
beat
they
six
was BS.
by
The Thunder
15.
was on
What do you
BS too. Like again, you just said. That's why I started my argument. You literally just said we not, and I get it, it's one game, but that's what I'm saying. Like even in
Y'all
that
have like
game,
we
they
have
played
6 more wins than them. Y'all have like
like
six, seven, six, seven more wins than the Hornets.
the games that we're losing, everybody's playing. Like you talking about we not knowing what's going to be on the court. I understand that, but for me personally, I'm watching updates and reading reports and stuff like that. We knew that last year Paul George was playing through knee stuff and playing not healthy the whole time. But contrary to most popular opinions, I believe in PG when healthy. Like we've seen healthy PG in LA go carry a Clippers team without
Mm.
Kawhi to a playoffs and then wait for Kawhi to come back and it was a dud. You mean? But I've seen what he looked like healthy. PG is just a is he hurt or is he not? Joel, like you talking about Joel looking like he's back to form. When you watch him play basketball, he don't look like I was having this conversation with another Sixers fan the other day, and they
Mm.
basically was saying like, okay, Joel can score the pill when he wants to, but he can't move like he used to. And they was essentially saying like at this point, Joel is accepting where his body is and not moving as much. But what that has turned into is people going at him. He getting laid up. He getting drive like he's not there. Like I'm watching. We seen. I don't remember who they played, but we seen he was in 3 highlights getting dunked on when we
That was
played
the
the
that
Cavs.
was
Like
the Cavs. I think that was the
even
Cavs.
4 posters. You feel me? Like so. I think that if it was a situation where every time Joel is out and we gotta rely on PG, then it looks bad or something like that. Then okay, cool. But we losing games where Maxi is playing, Joel is playing. Joel got 30. Mac like and I think also when you talk about like having bench players that we unsure of, the TJ Watfords and some of those guys on the bench right now, they are playing Barlow. They're playing minutes that nobody expected them to contribute to. But even when you look at the McCains, the Quentin Grimes, Kelly Oubre's, like those guys that are already these are guys that we were like we paid them in this offseason, not McCain, but both of the other two we paid to keep here. Like we have expectations for y'all. Quentin Grimes was scoring 30, but like, again, people was missing, but we put stock into y'all. So I think there was a level of expectation. I'm not saying that we dog shit. That's not what I'm saying. But I think that the fan expectation versus the expectation within the locker room of what we are capable of, and when you look at the competition and what teams are missing their best player or one of their best players, where we stand right now, I think it's still like okay, we in an okay place, but I think in the sense of being not complacent, we not where we should be because we still losing games that we shouldn't be on some effort stuff like Dan said.
So Ian, for I'm gonna disagree with you on this one. I'm catching this. I definitely think the Sixers are meeting expectations so far. Y'all the fifth seed right now, and I kind of think y'all in a similar situation to Boston. Not saying y'all got the players that Boston got. Well, shit, y'all might. Who knows what VJ with Maxi and Embiid gonna look like next season? But what I mean by that is, I don't think y'all should be worried about whoever y'all see in the playoffs. As long as y'all can stay around that 4, 5, 6 seed, and then once postseason come around, Joel Embiid is healthy. What more can y'all ask for? Like, like what? Like y'all the fifth seed right now. What you want y'all to be? The 2 seed, the third seed. We really didn't expect Joel to play that much this year. He's playing more than some people expected, especially since the new year started. Even though we only a month in, he's been playing a lot this month. And then PG, the nights we do see PG, he looked like he know how to play ball again. He do. So what more can you expect right now, honestly? You want everybody to be fully healthy, but we know at the end of the day that's a want. We know how it's gonna happen.
I feel like Sid Joel, and I'm not coming from like if he not we see that he's not 100%. He's still out there playing basketball. But if we got expectations to go play playoff basketball, not figure it out without him. Like we do got to still develop some chemistry, but
Mm-hmm.
not at the expense of him being 50% for the entire year. And what you said in terms of what do we expect, like where I'm coming from, my viewpoint on it is not these are teams in the East that we can't beat. I don't think it's nobody. Like I still said at the beginning of the season, I think that we are contenders in the East. I still believe that in terms of our roster and our makeup. I don't think that it's no other team that's a threat to us just because they're better than us. My concern is I don't know what version of who we getting on a night to night basis. I don't think there's nobody right now in our team in our starting lineup that's playing consistently right now. So my concern is all us. Like my concern is looking in the mirror. It's not about what other teams have to offer, but it's our lack of an identity right now that's concerning to me. That's all.
Got you. I'm not mad at that at all. I can't blame you. So moving on to our second statement for catcher pass. The Raiders should consider drafting someone other than Mendoza at number one.
Pass. Super pass. That would be the dumbest dog. I'm super passing. Like you cannot. They just fired Pete Carroll, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they coming off a season where they won 3 games, and I'm very much under the impression, and now you're stuck with Geno Smith and a mid roster, right? And I think this will more likely than not be Geno Smith's last year, especially in that could be to his fault or not his own, his coaching staff, who knows? Very varying factors. Where you came in, he was ass, and now you running it back. Let's say he's cooked this year again, he's getting up out of there. It's no way. And I believe I'm very much under the impression I'm not a fan. Like, I don't know how y'all feel, but I think I feel the same way. I'm not a fan of drafting QBs and immediately throwing them into the fire. Like I think like Steven Tom said it, we've gone away from the development of a quarterback. And I think if you and also I think Matt LaFleur said this, like maybe every couple you should be drafting quarterbacks regularly, unless your quarterback is Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Like, you should
Mm-hmm.
be drafting a quarterback every 2 to 3 years. Truthfully, I mean, especially if you don't have really had that guy. And I think now when you have it a number one pick,
Mm-hmm.
is like, wow, based on your team construction, why would you not draft Mendoza? Not to say he's a generational talent, because we see, like, he just won a Heisman, he just won a Natty. We see he's not the biggest, strongest, most dominant college quarterback we've ever seen, but you're in a situation where you can take the number one pick and draft somebody that could potentially change your franchise around at the quarterback helm, considering even if you take out the fact that Geno Smith wasn't corny this past year, or if he's corny again, he's pushing 40. Like, you know what, like 35, 36, something like that. Somewhere around there, upper 30s. I mean, he's not getting any younger, so why would you not draft a quarterback at a top spot?
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. What about you, Ed?
I'm a catch. I'm gonna catch just because the statement is should consider for multiple reasons. One, it is not super important, but I think we was talking about it in the group chat when Mark Cuban offered Mendoza the salary that he would make in his
He
first
says,
rookie
"Hey,
contract.
It's like
hey,
35
Yeah,
mil.
yeah, like just off the muscle, and he gonna make whatever he gonna make it NIL still. So that's a thing. That's something for him to consider. Also, we see in recent years, like players trying to empower themselves and like, bro, I don't want to come to that organization. I don't think it's nothing right now appealing about Las Vegas outside of the weather and the fact that Tom Brady has part ownership in it. And I think for
You could
that,
throw the Brock.
huh?
I say, and you could throw the Brock.
I mean, that's I was getting there. I was getting there too. Outside of that, I don't think it's a situation like you said. I don't think it's a situation for a young quarterback to thrive in. I think that outside of Brock, he has no weapons, and I'm not talking Ashton Genty because obviously he can run the ball, but he's not your out of the backfield, quarterback dump off option for real. For real. Y'all don't got a thorough offensive line. Who is he throwing the ball to? Y'all just traded away your number one option. His right now his number one outside of Brock, which is reliable. We see what
mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones just did with the young man and Tyler Warren in the end of this year.
Hey,
But also outside of Brock though, and we watch Brock do the same thing the last 2 years. I don't think people gonna watch him do it next year. Not that he can't contribute, but there's gonna be more game plans, more double teams, more coverages shading Brock, especially when your number one receiver is Trey Tucker. Um,
Nasty.
like you feel me? Um, I think Mendoza is a great talent at the quarterback position, and I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I don't know of like privy talents or people that's being scouted coming out of college right now in terms
mm-hmm.
of what there is to offer or what the major drop
That's
off
better.
is after Mendoza. But I just think that we've seen in the Panthers or in situations like that before that raw talent can get overshadowed by just a poor situation, poor circumstances to come into. And that poor circumstance in Carolina almost cost Bryce Young his opportunity at the NFL. Like I don't think it was. I think it was that bad that if he got another job somewhere else, it was either going to be with another failing organization or as a backup somewhere.
Hmm.
Not to say that that will be Mendoza's destiny, but I think that right now your team is set up for no matter what you draft this year, y'all will still fail and not be good. And not to say that you're expecting a year turnaround,
Hmm.
but I think that we got to stop like trying to draft quarterbacks at whatever age they coming out of college and expecting them to sign a contract with a cape on from day one. I think that's unfair to them. So I think they should definitely consider it. Um, but also Tom being part of management and Mendoza being a quarterback, if it makes sense, then do what you got to do.
The better
So
question
yeah,
is should Mendoza allow the Raiders to draft him?
real rap though. So
Even
like
a
my
beard.
man, like my man John, I'm heavy pass on this. It's nowhere else you should look. If you're not going to draft him at one, then you're not drafting nobody else at one. You're trading the pick away and getting some value for it. That's the only. That's
Miles
the
and
only.
next.
That's the only thing I can see. You got to take him at number one. And I want to talk about another quarterback that just came out a few years ago that kinda had the same similar season that he just had in college and came into the NFL, and right then and there you knew he was a franchise quarterback. Joe Burrow just had a very similar college career to Mendoza. Broke out his sophomore year, won the Heisman, won the Natty, etc., etc., etc. Number one pick, all that. And then look in Cincinnati. Cincinnati was what, a piss poor franchise. Didn't who was he throwing the ball to the first year? Who was his wide receivers? We don't know. Who was
Yeah,
his offensive line?
What year he got
Garbage,
drafted?
still garbage.
he's
Joe
like
Burrow got
2020.
drafted if I'm 2018, yeah, some around there. Exactly. So
Mm.
a very, very similar situation. If Mendoza showed that he already showed that he got that. You got to take him at number one. Now, figure everything else out after the fact, but you got to take him at number one. If you're not taking him at one, trade the pick away, get some value. You can easily get pick four and a future first and the third, something like that. Because it's
He
plenty of
said Joe
teams
was
that
throwing
want
at
to take him.
AJ Green.
You said who?
Joe was throwing to my man AJ Green, and T was
AJ
there
Green on
already.
crutches?
Yeah, and Tyler,
Oh wow.
Tyler Boyd and T Higgins was there already. Yeah, AJ was
Oh yeah, they
32nd.
took T in the second round. That was rookie T.
Yeah,
They came in
yeah.
together. Exactly. So like, why not?
Why not?
Exactly.
I
So
ain't mad at y'all. I ain't mad at y'all. I because that was my thought process going into it. But I seen a
mhm.
video recently where I think I sent it to y'all too. Derek Carr was talking about like looking at what they doing right now, what's on the roster right now, and he had a slightly different perspective. Somebody was grinding him up in the comments like, "What do he know? What did he do in Vegas anyway?" Like, I get it, but again, just the outlook on teams and the impact that like a collapsing team around you can have. Like everybody can't weather that storm from the quarterback position.
Mhm.
Yeah. And they was tripping too. Derek was a Fernando legend coming out of college. Niggas fried. The Raiders just cooked him. Bro, rap, yo. Derek was super nice
He
coming out of
was. He
college.
He
was.
Playing
definitely
with
was
Devontae.
nice.
He was nice. You know what I mean?
He
So
made people
moving
forget
on.
how poop his brother was.
Yeah. Bus. And it was
Damn.
garbage. Came in. It was garbage.
Oh, crazy spray, yo. That's
Yeah.
nasty.
Moving on to our first NFL topic for today. Bill Belichick not selected to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And hold on, before y'all guys give y'all takes on this, I just want to pull something up for y'all real quick, just to put this into perspective, so that the
Put this
audience
blasphemy into
can,
perspective.
can also see what we looking at right now. How y'all feel about him not being selected to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Obviously, you got his stats at the top, and then at the bottom are a few of the top coaches in the Hall of Fame right now.
I want to say all of these, like what's on the screen, he's number one in postseason wins, one in Super Bowl wins, and only second in
All time wins.
yeah, all time wins. So I mean, I'll keep it short. Like we all know that this is just just goofy, and I think it begs, and like we talked about earlier with voters being held accountable. I do hope that this forces um the people that were voting for this to be held accountable because it's absolutely just like Tom said, bro. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, then nobody should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's cut and dry. Like it's if he's not a first ballot, it's impossible for anybody that's coming up after Bill Belichick and how in these next years that's up to be a first ballot. Is no way. And I think
niggas before I'm not first ballot. If you not first ballot,
that too. Y'all just saying after because there's no justifiable way anybody after him could be first ballot. But I think it's just like I ain't even got no words for this, bro. Like they need to they need to be held accountable, and maybe we'll get a restructure of how we go about voting for the Hall of Fame, maybe, so that we don't allow this to happen again. Sometimes you need something like crazy, like a big shark in a word to make for something to change, and maybe this is it, or we might get criteria or a certain accountability standpoint of voters. So,
Gotcha. What about you, A?
blasphemous, conspicuous. Say no. Everything that John said already. I'm gonna just emphasize that message, and then I'm gonna shift it to the narrative that leaked out or that was reported that apparently Bill's involvement or suspicion of
Spygate.
Spygate and Deflategate is what kept him out of the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Take away those 2 rings, you still got four.
Right.
Like how many playoff wins do you still have? Like that's simply putting it. The further like conversation behind that is y'all already punished the teams both times for both infractions.
For both
At the end of the
instances,
day,
right after.
yeah, but at the end of the day, you didn't take his ring away. Y'all didn't take a trophy. Y'all didn't do none of that. Y'all just took a draft pick and a couple games from Bill and or Tom.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing to wait until he's eligible to then say, like, it's just a slap in the face? Because there's nobody that knows or watches football for the last 15 years, even that doesn't think that Bill Belichick is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer, yes.
So it's not a matter of, oh yeah, like it's the same situation like with a TO or with KG number not being retired in Minnesota. We know that you are the greatest where you at, or we know that you are deserving of this accolade, but it's just more on display that is bigger than the resume. And that's BS. That's not what sports are supposed to be about. And right is right and wrong is wrong. So it's certain situations where okay, cool, we holding somebody accountable, but again, in this instance, he already been held accountable, and I think it's a cop out to try to resurface these things when it's time to acknowledge the greatness that has already been.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be in the league. Just need to interject and just put him in the hall. I ain't gonna lie.
No,
like no, y'all cook.
John, like I would not be shocked if we hear something by the end of next week that it's a change and that he getting in that thing. I would not be shocked, honestly. But so the way I feel about this, I'm definitely shocked that they didn't select him to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like Ian pointed out, they definitely felt some type of way about Spygate and Deflategate. And I wanna take it a little one step further. Some of these voters right now currently, because Bill Belichick been in the league for so long, some of these voters right now currently could possibly be other coaches that he coached against or went up against. That's long hung it up and now they got to vote in it. You think they're going to elect him in? Like it's not a secret that majority of head coaches don't necessarily like or get along with Bill Belichick. He's not a real likable guy, unless you're one of his close friends. The outside people in the NFL don't really like him. So I'm not shocked that they let that and try to cover it up by saying, "Oh, it's Spygate and it's Deflategate, and that's why he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer." I just hope they keep that same energy when it's Tom Brady turnaround.
You know they not, bro.
Come on now.
You know they not.
Now, Spygate, that's definitely all Bill. That's on him. Take that on the chin. Deflategate, that was both of them, red-handed, caught. Both of them.
Dog.
So we got to be consistent here. I don't understand it. I really don't. I
That's
don't.
that's like the boy they asked. He was a rival of Bill in the division. As he couldn't even remember if he voted Bill first ballot All
Yeah,
Star.
Yeah, I
Like,
think I
yeah.
did.
bro, who we talking about right
Hey,
now? Like, be
so
for
then
real.
why? So, okay, so give me your vote. That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
That's cause for
You're right.
integrity of the vote to
Like,
be in question. Like we got people that don't even remember. We got people that don't even remember what they voted for the next day. They literally asked. This was the next day. He's
they
like,
had,
well, they had already voted. They had already voted. This what they the vote wasn't the day before, but the result came out, and the next day they asked him about it. And he was like, I don't even remember. I think I voted. Like
like
we
what you
this
mean?
the NFL, bro. This professional. This is professional sports. Like people die about
Exactly.
this, bro. Like this ain't no joke. This ain't no game. That is legacies and professional people that have put real pain and work in to be where they at and to get the
Hall of
recognition
Fame,
they
but for you to
deserve.
play
Yes,
games like this is unacceptable. It
it's
really is.
wrong, yo.
Like,
bro, you talking about they? Hopefully, they keep that energy for Tom, bro. They gonna have a parade for Tom to carry his head to Canton to put it in the hall, like, and it's really crazy to be a part. Like, bro, people already making videos talking about, well, look at Bill Belichick's numbers when Brady's not on the field. Brady played 28 years in the league, like, and Bill Belichick not only drafted him, but he helped develop him, and then he put him in a
yes,
position to succeed. He
yeah.
chose Tom over
Thank you.
Drew Bledsoe, who had already established himself as a successful quarterback in the NFL. And I do believe they got a championship with Drew Bledsoe. No,
No, they got
or
No,
their
no,
championship appearance.
no.
they got parents. They
Parents.
got their loss.
So it's
Mhm.
like, come on, bro. Like, that's coaching. Like, he got to get. And again, he didn't step on the field. Tom is great, but you got to be able to decide that and go with your guns and fight that argument in a moment. And it turned into, again, the greatest quarterback to ever live. And I'm not negating that, but we can't acknowledge him in that sense. Like as much as we in basketball, as much as we say what Phil Jackson had, he still got how many rings between Mike and Cole? Like,
Mhm.
can't take that away from him. It don't matter the talent that was on the squad.
Exactly. And the one thing I do want to point out, I'm so glad that you brought that up, Ian. People talking about, well, look at Bill with and without Tom, et cetera, et cetera. Let's talk about when Tom first got there. Tom first Super Bowls, he did not win because of himself.
He
It was
wasn't
because
all pro either.
exactly. It was because of his defense and Bill Belichick shutting down the hottest offense that the league have seen up to that point, which is the greatest show on turf. They was hooping on everybody. Bill Belichick shut that down, held them to 17. Like let's not do that. Bill Belichick is a great coach, especially on the defensive end. Tom Brady, damn near almost every season, had at least a top 10 defense, if not top five. He ain't never have to worry about, damn, is my defense gonna let me down today? He never had to worry about that. Is am I gonna make the proper throws that I need to make to win this game?
Facts.
So we
Yeah.
got to give Bill Belichick that credit. And then not just that, obviously, we know he got the 6 Super Bowl rings as a head coach, but some people kind of forget that he also has 2 as a DC defensive coordinator for the Giants in the 80s with LT. He was that defensive coordinator where LT was wrecking havoc and doing whatever he was doing in the locker room. I don't know where Bill was. Bill Bill should shut that down. Or maybe Bill knew he needed that to play. I don't know. But I do know he got 2 out of him.
Like,
And
come on, bro.
yeah, and once again, it was the same thing, led by the Giants defense and okay quarterback Phil Simms. Like, give Bill Belichick his credit.
Nasty work, bro.
But yeah, moving on
I'm
to
the day with his Patriots PJs on.
Dog.
moving on to our last topic. Today we gonna end it on a good note. Our Super Bowl predictions. I'm gonna start with my man John. Who you got?
Man, Drake. Dog. I'm picking Drake, but I can say I'm really picking Drake because I've rocked with Drake the whole playoffs. I
Mm-hmm.
would not be surprised if they lost though because the Seahawks defense is on a crazy heater right now. Like
Mm-hmm.
them, they is hooping bad. Like last week they played the last
Rams.
week they played the last week they played the Rams. And, look, Matt had a good day. Not gonna lie, but they defense made it tough for him. And then you consider the week before that they played the Niners and put BTA. and I think they have the personnel and the right scheme and the right coaching to embarrass the opposing quarterback. But
Mhm.
I'm taking Drake. I'm taking Drake and by a close game. I don't think anybody's gonna get blowout. I don't think New England has the capacity to blow the Seahawks out, and I don't think the Seahawks are gonna blow the Patriots out. So yeah, I'm taking the Patriots.
Gotcha. What about you, E?
Drake may hate watch. I'm obviously blind. I'm going with the Seahawks. For the same reason that he said, basically, I think that their defense right now is they leading with their defense.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what they've done all year. But last week Sam Darnold matched everything that the defense did. And not to say that the Rams defense is elite because they are not, but he
Mhm.
still made timely throws. He made impactful throws, he made the right reads.
Yeah.
And on the same notion, just in the same light that it is hard to um actually go against a hard defense or a good defense and convert, it's hard to go point for point with a great quarterback. And Matt Stafford threw for 300 whatever yards and 3+ touchdowns. Um
So the Sam,
and that's what I'm saying. And Sam went point for point with Matt Stafford,
crazy work.
who is also MVP candidate. So I think that if the Seahawks are able to play defense at the way that they were the last 3 weeks, and lead on the defensive end, and Sam Darnold can keep that energy up, I think it'll put a little bit more pressure on Drake May. I don't think that Drake May has looked impressive, and it's not me like trying to shit on him because I'm not. But I don't think that in any of their three playoff wins he has looked impressive. I think that he's made critical throws in critical situations. He's looked seasoned, like he's ready for the big moment. But from start to finish, Chargers was getting with him, the Texans was getting with him, and they won last week by 3 points.
Man, hell no. He threw
Uh,
for like 203 tutties against the Texans. You tripping,
huh?
bro? Yes, the Texans. He threw for like 203 tutties against the
Bro, he
Texans.
fumbled how many? Like they was okay, cool again, but that was a critical drive that was maybe 85 yards towards the end of the game. But it's not like he was just moving the ball, but like he scored on the opening possession, then it was stale for the middle 2 quarters for it, then he turned it back up at the end of the game. But again, he made critical throws. The throw over Stingley's shoulder, that's a throw that 5 quarterbacks in the league could make. You mean he was making critical throws throughout the game, but they was also in his pockets, and he looked like he was shaking in his boots. It was a play where Houston could have got the ball and went down the field to tie the game after the Patriots punted the pill, and the Patriots went run, run, run and punted the pill because it was snow outside, and they trusted CJ to go fold. But they didn't even give Drake a chance, and it was like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. They could have went, but they didn't because Drake wasn't playing great football. He was making great throws when it was time to make them, but outside of that, he was flawed. That's all I'm saying. And they are three elite defenses. I think all three of those defenses ranked in the top 5 this year.
Mhm.
But all three of those defenses has zero help from their quarterback. And so if Sam Darnold come to play and he can keep, the streak of last week, then the Patriots in trouble. But I like John said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots win either, because they've been playing great on the defensive end of the ball, and Gonzo is in the pockets. He trying to strip everything.
Right.
Gotcha. So I don't know. This was a tough one for me, honestly, because one, I didn't expect neither one of these teams to be here, and now that they're both here, truthfully, I don't even want neither one of these teams here because I want a new winner in the NFL. Like, goddamn, we've been KC been one, and now they back to winning ways. The Eagles, y'all okay? Y'all just got y'all two most recent Jones. The Rams been one, now they won again. Now we got the Seahawks back again, like they wasn't just here 2 times with Russ like 10 years ago. Like, goddamn, we keep seeing the same teams in the Super Bowl. I'm ready for a very different mix-up. But anyways, I do think the Patriots gonna pull it off because I I,
Drake.
I cannot put no money and faith
And
against
Sam,
Sam. I just
MVP.
Sam Darnold now. I will say this right here on live. Sam Darnold, if you do go out and win the Super Bowl and you play a good game, you gotta have a good game. You can't go out there and be pedestrian. You gotta have a good game. I will finally give you your credit and your flowers, and I'll grab a Sam Darnold jersey. Now that don't mean I'm gonna wear it outside the crib.
I'm never putting Darnold on my back. Yo, no Diddy. I'm never doing it. He
A
died.
Darnold Seahawk jersey is nuts, bro.
Man, I can't I cannot see like I cannot see him not being scared throwing a pass under the bright lights in the Super Bowl. I can't see him looking normal. I just don't see it. I
I,
don't know.
I would have thought the same way if we didn't watch football last week.
I agree. He did make plays last week, but he got to keep doing it every week for me.
See, that's the reason why I didn't even mention Sammy, because you consider he had every reason to turn those lights off last week. Like, bro, you consider the Rams just gave him the belt last year to end the season, which then started the trickle effect to him getting the belt against Detroit in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And then outside of that, then he said he was 0-2 against the Rams. I forgot the
Yeah,
other.
because he had played them earlier in the season and threw 4 interceptions.
Yes, exactly. So had he not performed like he did last week, and the Seahawks needed every bit of just, that was gonna sound crazy. They needed every
360.
real rat for them to win that game. Like 360 for 3 tutties, and he played mistake-free football. Sam Darnold and mistake-free football in the same sentence, I never thought I'd see today. I'm gonna keep it a bean. So had he not, like you said, had he not played that game last week, I feel the same way. But I'm not confident, but I think he'll play solid in the Super Bowl. He definitely won't go back to how he just was 365 days ago against the Rams close season and the Lions. I mean, if he has a mid game, I don't think it'll be because he's shaking in his boots. I think it'll just be because of the defense and how they play him and him not being able to perform, not because he's scared. So
Gotcha. We gonna say definitely gonna be a good game, and it's definitely one of the ones that you really don't know who's gonna win. You got to sit down and watch it. Obviously, both defenses is great, but now it's dependent on which quarterback is gonna show up, which quarterback want the game more. That's really what it's gonna come down to. The quarterback play. We know what y'all defense bringing. So yeah, if we don't have anything else, we can wrap it up there. Make sure y'all go check us out on Instagram at Everything X Goes. Make sure y'all check the story. We're gonna have some parlays dropping for y'all for the Super Bowl. I might give y'all two. I'm not gonna promise three. I'll definitely give y'all two for sure. I'm not gonna promise three. I'll give y'all two for sure. Go check the story. And just a heads up, we've definitely been locked and loaded on the Super Bowl. We 6 out of 7 in the last 2 years in parlays in the Super Bowl. So don't miss the parlays for this year. We catch y'all in the next one.
sir.
For sure. I see